right, so thanks to the EA Creator Network for giving me early access to this pack. This is not final software that we're viewing today, so some things may change on final release. If there's a specific section that you're curious about, feel free to skip to it in the timestamps below. So the first thing is we did get a new aspiration. It's called Social Puppeteer. And social puppeteers want to know everyone's business and are able to extort and expose scandals about whoever they please. And if it sounds like For Rent, it's because it sounds like For Rent. We have a similar secrets thing with For Rent. And, you know, it's like, sure. There's also some new likes and dislikes because we got a new Afrobeats music station. We got a new waltz music station. And we have a new swordmanship skill. So those show up in the likes and dislikes section. I also try to check to see if there's any new ways to create family connections in Create-A-Sim, and that does not look like it's the case. It doesn't look like there's any new, setting for like uncle or step parent or anything like that in CAS. It seems like that's the sort of thing you still need to do in the game, but maybe that will change by the time the base game update comes out. Now, as far as the actual Create-A-Sim, I started with the hairs, and let me tell you, these hairs are excellent, especially the Afro textured hairs. And you already knew I was going to be super excited about looking at them. And I know that's why you're here as well, because you're like, what's going on with the Afro textured hairs? They look so good in game. First of all, most of them are like an avant-garde, like super high fashion version of a hair. And then like we have a few that are kind of like more of your everyday vibe, like, sleek down fro with the hair all around, or it's something like that. But these hairs would be perfect for any sort of like formal occasion or every day if you just want your sim to look like super high fashion every day. And even the hairs that aren't the Afro textured hairs look really good as well. One of my favorites is the one that's curled, but then like, I don't know, swoops to the side or something. I don't know. I like that one a lot. And I kind of like the longer one. It's kind of like long and wavy. And there's like some sort of twisting happening up at the top. I don't know. I like that hair as well. I think the feminine hairs that come with this pack are going to be some fan favorites. I do want to just quickly interject and say that I find it really unfortunate that this is the pack that's coming out after announcing the buyout. But it really sucks because I feel like this pack's CAS is really strong with the African diaspora representation, specifically West African representation, and adding more Afro textured hairs. So if you are feeling some type of way about the EA buyout and you want to use your voice to try and stop it, I have some resources linked in the description below. But please do not let your feelings about the EA buyout take away from the work that Simmers and the Sims team have done for representation in this pack. Like, I know that people have a lot of mixed feelings about it, but it just looks so good. It looks so good. I can't even be like so mad about it. And it goes beyond just hairs. There's also like new head wraps. The head wraps have like the prints. The Ankara prints are in most of the items that we get with this pack. It's just so freaking cool. And it looks so good. And I'm really just like, if nothing else, even if you decide you're not going to purchase because you're like, I'm not doing that right now. If nothing else, just make sure to congratulate the Simmers who were involved with consulting with the Sims team about making sure the representation was done right. The Sims team said that they worked with the Pan-African Gaming Group, and then I know they worked with specific creators. So I'll make sure to have that linked below as well, so you can like take a look and be proud of Simmers, okay? Some other things that come in the pack are related to like tiaras, all right, and crowns. And I'm thinking that these are going to be super dope for things like birthday parties and quinceañeras. If you're not interested in playing royalty all the time, these are good resources to have for other things outside of royalty. But we do have some options when it comes to the crowns with sparkliness versus there's even a crown with like cowrie shells, which is pretty cool. When I was clicking around to show off the different tiaras and the crowns, I was trying to show what some of them look like with different hairstyles so you could see how much clipping there was, and you could determine for yourself if the clipping really bothered you, and if it did, how much it bothered you. And I was pretty impressed. I mean, I know there's clipping, but I think that it's still pretty cool to have these options in the game for our Sims. And some of the crowns and some of the tiaras are like unlocks through gameplay. So I did my best to make sure that I showed you what was available to you, even if it was locked behind gameplay. There is a cheat for that. But yeah, me personally, I like having the new head wraps in the game. I'm going to be using those for my Sims all the time, actually, because even me in real life, I've been thinking about like, man, I need to get some more fabric so I can make some nicer head wraps for myself, because there's just some times where I just don't want my hair out and I want to be able to still look cute out in public, you know? Another favorite thing for me with this pack is the jewelry. Specifically, I love the disc earring. There's like a disc earring that has like different metal effects. And it reminds me of some earrings that I actually had in real life. And I love when The Sims puts things that I love in real life into the game. I think that's so cool. And I think the jewelry looks really, really good. And it's very, it's like bold and it's big. And it looks like some stuff that I would wear in real life, slash, you know, people from the African diaspora would wear in real life. I love that. There's also masks. They added masks to the game if you want to do like a masquerade ball type of thing. Or if you know, want to have your Sim getting a little freaky, there, some of this stuff for me, I'm like, this could make some good costumes for depending on what you're trying to do role play wise. Obviously, it's not what it's for, but it's still cool to have that option. But yeah, I think that they did a really good job with the cast items in this pack. And just at a quick glance, I was happy to see that you could see the necklaces with the tops. I didn't test it with every top, but that's been one of my complaints recently with these packs is like we get all these cool neckerchiefs and necklaces and stuff, and then they give us tops where you can't see them with like together. I find that very odd, but at a quick glance, I could see the jewelry when I was looking at it with the top that I chose, which I should have, you know, you should expect that, but still that's even called into question. But I love that we got the jewelry that looks like the stuff that was stolen from the Louvre, in my opinion. I think I'm using that like as a loose term, but really I'm just saying that that stuff is, you know, really sparkly, big gems, big jewels. Love that. Now, one of the things I am a little bit disappointed by is there was only one new makeup swatch and one new tattoo. And the makeup swatch is not really something that I would associate with like royalty and regalness. And I feel like they could have added one or two extra things to just like make a, I don't know, refined look or something, like a royal look. I don't know. It's like we have a few different makeup options with base game, yes, but getting something in each category is what I expect with an expansion pack. And that's not what happened with this expansion pack. And I'll get more into that later. They did a really cool job adding the Africana prints to all the different things, but there were a few items that I felt like the placing of the print could have been improved so that the print didn't land right on the bust of your Sim. Like there's this one pattern that's like circular and it kind of looks like an eyeball, and the placement of the print for some of the items is like right on your Sim's bust. So it looks like eyes looking straight at you from their bust. And I don't really care for that. I wish they would have moved that around a little bit so it wouldn't be so like on the nip, if you know what I mean. That's my one critique. I mean, and I think about that because like even having that fabric in real life, like that's the kind of thing that I would try to avoid if I was sewing my own clothes, like trying to move the pattern in such a way that it doesn't land like a bullseye right on my chest, you know? Now, what I do love is that a lot of the items that we get with this pack for the clothing pieces, there's like a version of it that's like solid and a version of it that has the Africana print. So I don't know if you think that that's a little bit of cheating, right? So for example, it's like we got two different corset tops, but really it's one corset top with two different versions of the swatches, right? Like, you know, do you think that's cheating? Or like there's this one A-line skirt that comes in this pack, but it's gonna look like there's two different versions, like there's two different A-line skirts, when really it's one A-line skirt, but one of the versions has more of the solid pastel swatches and another version has all of the bold Ankara prints. And it's like that's one item, but we've split it up between two different color versions. I don't know, that could be cheating, but I do like that most of the stuff comes in coordinating swatches. I can't remember right now, but there are like one or two items that don't get all of the same swatches for the prints. And that I'm just like, oh, like I'm pretty sure the pants, there's like these cool like wide leg pants, but they don't come in all the same color swatches for one of the prints. So if you wanted it to match with one of the tops, it's like there's one off it's missing. And I'm like, okay, who's quality checking this? You know, like I wish that were the same. But otherwise, the range that this pack has to cover as far as what they're representing when it comes to royalty is very interesting, because this is not a pack that's dedicated to just European style royalty or just African style royalty. It's covering both. And that kind of means that you get a little bit of things that don't necessarily coordinate together, but are happening at the same time. Like the avant-garde kind of cut out, super nice dress that's supposed to be like the Ankara print dress comes in the same pack as like a poofy, frilly, lacy dress that's more reminiscent of like a European ball, you know? Like they don't necessarily make sense together, but they're going to be happening at the same time in this pack. Looking through all of the different items and seeing all the prints on the items did remind me about how much I used to like sewing. I didn't love sewing. I liked it specifically. How much I like sewing, I don't want to give any impression that I used to love sewing for real. But I did enjoy being able to go shopping for fabrics. I thought that was my favorite part of a sewing project, is going to look for the fabrics to sew with. But I went through a phase where when I wanted to sew, I wanted to use Ankara prints. I love the bold colors. I love being able to take a simple item, like a pair of pants that would normally be like super regular, but then using a bold print makes it like a fun statement piece. And so I'm really excited to have these sorts of things in the game now, because you can have a very simple thing like a swimsuit or a simple pant, but now because there is an Ankara print on it, it becomes like a fun, bold piece in your Sims collection. So the feminine cast was all over the place, but in a good way. Like you can get the frills, you can get the lace, you can get the embroidery, the sequins, and the print. Very wide range. And I think that also will lend itself well to other things outside of royalty, like being able to go to parties, having more party looks now, having more wedding looks, having more like, even with the tiaras, I think of like a princess party or like a quinceañera. The quinceañera kept coming to me. As soon as I saw those tiaras and the crowns, I was like, oh, perfect. Now I can throw a quinceañera. I've never thrown a quinceañera in this game, but now I'm like, I gotta throw one, you know? Again, one of the things that I like about this pack is that they give you the printed version of an item, and then they'll give you the solid version of the item. I also find it interesting the things that they didn't do like that. Like there's the skirt with like the buttons that they didn't do with the solids and the prints. And then also there's this pajama set that I really like that came with this pack, but they only did like a satin, like pastel colors of that, which to me are kind of like the Belcourt, Verdmar versions of the item, not the Dembale version of the item, which are the different worlds that are in the pack. So, you know, again, I don't know how they make those decisions. I would have loved to see those pajamas with some Africana prints, basically. We did also get some new accessories, like body accessories that I liked. I really liked the gloves. And every time I see these gloves, I think about how I don't really use gloves a lot in my game for my Sims look. So now with the lace gloves, with the matching lace tights, I'm like, I'm gonna have to put that on one of my Sims. I also like the shoes that we got, like a classic pump, but then also the sandal. I love the sandal that we got from this pack. But overall, I think I like the items that were added for feminine Sims for the pack. So for masculine cast, I'm really happy that we got some fun avant-garde looks for the Afro-textured hair for Sims as well, for masculine Sims. For the non-Afro-textured hairs, I wasn't super duper impressed. Like it just kind of seemed like more of the same. But y'all gonna have to let me know if it feels like real different to you, because it doesn't feel super different to me. But for the Afro-textured hairstyles, those definitely feel different. Like we don't have anything like these in the game right now. Both braided styles plus the avant-garde look that's like the fade with all the gems and stuff on it, or pearls, shells. I don't know what's going on with that. I just think it's super dope. All right. And they also have some of the crowns tagged as masculine. Obviously, you can do whatever you want in your game. You can take off that tag and put whatever on any Sim. But there were a few that were tagged as masculine as well. I also love that the big jewelry shows with the super low cut top. When it comes to the clothes though, I am curious to hear what you all think, because on one hand, I do kind of feel like it's more of the same. It doesn't feel super different to me. I think that the biggest jump forward style wise for masculine Sims is the fact that the items come in the Encore print, which is also a big step forward for the feminine CAS as well. But a lot of the cuts, a lot of the items, they don't feel very different than other things that have come in recent packs. That being said, if you only have base game and then you have this pack, I think you'll get a lot of good, useful items, new items that have good cuts and are needed, especially when it comes to like formal wear or like party wear. Like I've been saying, those things are good additions. But the super low button like top, I'm like, we've gotten that recently. I thought we got that with businesses and hobbies and something else, even maybe even Love Struck. I'm like, we've been getting that top a lot recently. And then even just like, oh, a blazer with like a shirt underneath, you know? I mean, I don't know. I don't wear masculine clothes. I'm not super tapped into masculine fashion. So you guys are gonna have to tell me from what you see if it feels like something that's different that is needed in the game. One of the things that I was impressed with was the pants that came with like all the different swatches. I did like that. To me, I'm like, okay, being able to have all the different color options, super cool. And then also having the tuxedo pants that come in the prints and also in the solid, I think that's super cool. But I didn't feel like any super revolutionary feeling when it comes to the masculine CAS. There were a couple of pieces that seemed like they were more like religious, like Muslim inspired pieces. That could be an African thing as well, but like when I think about the kufi hat and then the coordinating like outfit, I think of like Muslim, and that might not be what it's supposed to be, but I think that's cool that that's been added to the game and that specific look. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. The masculine CAS, I'm like, okay, I get it's there, you know. There's not much to say for me, y'all. I do like the piece that is like the ornate, like long coat with the scarf. Like to me, that's like something that would be really fun to wear for my Sims to wear with like winter looks. And some of the jackets that have like the ornate, like embroidery, that's cool. I do think that was needed. And then there were some that are like more like robes or like caftans. That's distinct. That's distinct from what we've gotten in the game before. But otherwise, like I said, the other like everyday clothes, I'm like, meh. Like that to me isn't as impressive. But if you guys have any ideas of what kind of masculine CAS that you would like to see in the game, please let me know below, because I would like to know a little bit more. Here's what I think. I think that there's this one modern menswear kit that came out that I don't know how I feel about that kit in particular, but another take on modern menswear or like high fashion menswear or something like that, I feel like could be good for the game. That being said, having the simple cuts that we already have with the prints, I think is good enough for me for this pack. Okay, so let's talk about the youth, shall we not? First of all, I'll say that I love that we get these Afro textured hairstyles for the kids. I think that it's not only much needed, but much appreciated. That being said, for the first time, maybe ever, we don't get any straight hairstyles for the children. I ain't never seen that before, and I am loving it. I think that is hilarious, but some of y'all will be upset, and I don't know what else to tell you. I think at least one of the things that would have been cute for kids is the little long hair wavy one that I like a lot, but maybe there's something similar already in the game and we don't need it. Or maybe they were like, we have limited resources and we're gonna put it all with the Africana hairstyles, which they've never done that before. So love that for us, but it is, you know, a departure from what they normally do, okay? Now, as far as the tiaras and the crowns, I am a little surprised that there were so few. When there's so many different options, it would have been nice to get a few more for the kids, but I do like that the cowrie shell one comes for the children as well. As for the tops, the bottoms, the outfits, I mean, I really like the ruffle top, and I like that it comes in the Encore print and then it also comes in the gingham print. But again, it looks like there's 3 different options for the tops when really it's 2. It's 2 different tops that we get, just they're separated because of the swatches. It's 2 different pants that we get, but they're separated because of the swatches. Like feels a little cheaty in my opinion. And then as far as the full body is concerned, I think it's fine. It would have been nice to maybe see the little satiny pajamas for children. We didn't get those. And I also am a little bit surprised by the lack of accessories for the kids, like the lack of the different jewelry pieces for children. It would have been nice to see something along those lines, but I guess, I don't know, kids must not wear any jewelry or something, or like they wouldn't wear anything for like a formal event. Like, I don't know. I think for the range of the kids stuff that we got, we didn't get nothing for kids. We got a few items that will be nice to have, especially in the different prints. We got a few new shoes as well for children. So fine. I think where this pack falls completely short is for toddlers and infants. So for toddlers, we got like two different outfits, like full body outfits, and I think 2 different pairs of shoes. And that's more or less it. We didn't get any new hair for toddlers. We didn't get any new accessories for toddlers. And then for infants, we got nothing. Which when I realized that we didn't get anything for infants, I was confused and I went back to the trailers. Because one of the trailers shows a sim aging up, and I realized that the items that the sim was wearing as an infant were the items that came in the base game update before this pack. We got I think it was a base game update, not an SDX drop, that had the African items that came to the game. Wow, super disappointed about that, especially because the things that are the African prints in this game do not match the African prints that we got in the base game update. So if you want your whole family to match, they're not going to. They could coordinate, but they're not going to match. And I find that just so bizarre. Just bringing nothing for infants feels like a huge miss. And that's what I mean by wanting something for every age, for every category in an expansion pack, regardless of what the actual theme is. I'm like, the theme should just be that it expands the whole game. And that's part of it to me. It does make me curious what the budget looks like, how that sort of thing is decided on their end, on the back end. I don't know. I am genuinely curious now, because nothing for infants to me is like a huge miss. Like I said, I was checking back and forth multiple times. And the last part of this video is just showing you what all the items look like on each sim, and also doing the gender non-conforming representation as well, just so you can see what is and isn't, distorting, what looks right, what doesn't look right. I also think I went through and showed off some of the items on plus size sims as well as elders, because the items change depending on what sim is wearing it, just so you can get an idea of like how far these items go and if there's any like major distortion issues on the items. I would say by and large, it's what you expect, y'all. Like every time I do this, I notice that a lot of the pants that are tagged as masculine really do not show up very well on feminine frame sims, whether it's feminine frame, feminine presentation, or feminine frame, masculine presentation sims. Like that usually ends up causing problems every single time. Also with the tops, anything that was like specifically made for masculine sims, there's issues as well putting it on a feminine framed sim, whether it's feminine frame, feminine presentation, or feminine frame, masculine presentation. Like those are going to be the distortion issues that I expect to see. And they definitely show up with this pack as well. Same thing with the shoes, although the kind of like duck issue that I feel like happens with the shoes with a trans sims, I didn't feel like it was as exaggerated with the items that come in this pack, so that made me feel pretty good. I really do wish that sometimes the Sims team could go back and like really look at what their stuff looks like with these different sims, just because sometimes things don't look as, strong as you might expect, considering how people might be making their sims. Like if you're gonna go out of your way to show the representation, or that representation matters, then it's like, okay, then go out of your way to check that all of the items show up on sims correctly, Like that's not always the case, but I think for most of these items, it actually shows up okay. I think overall, I am really excited about the cast that comes in this pack. The hairs really stole the show. The hairs, the jewelry, those are the things I am super excited about followed very, 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 very closely by just a hair of a margin that everything comes in the Ankara prints. Now, some of the things that I'm not super happy about with this pack, I called it out already just recently, but nothing for infants is crazy to me. I don't understand why we are asked to pay $40 US for an expansion pack and it doesn't expand every aspect of our game. You couldn't throw us a onesie? I'm gonna hope that because I'm looking at not final software, that maybe something was mistagged and it was hidden from us. And I hate looking at all the cool new stuff that we get and then being like, we didn't get this. But I mean, that's weird. That's strange to me. And I know that they think that they made it up to us by giving us free stuff, but it's like, nah, if you want people to pay for something, include that in the purchase as well. I also would have liked to see a new trait, like a demure trait or something. I know it might be similar to Snob or something like that. Anyway, let me know what you all think in the comments below. I also have my build buy showcase video up right now for you to see as well. And I'll be going live with this pack. If you would like to purchase this pack along with the bundle that's available until March 16th, 2026, please consider using my creator code vstreetlove. When you use my creator code vstreetlove on the EA app or Sims 4 website at checkout, I get a 5% commission and you, for a limited time as well, get a 5% discount. So let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my other showcase videos. And until next time, y'all.